some things can really bring you back from a break you're supposedly taking. Today, the AUC elections for the AUC chairmanship were conducted at Addis Ababa. And in as much as many Kenyans wished that Raila Amolo Odinga would become the AUC chairman, he did not. And one person in particular had the interest in that election because he knew that if Raila Amolo Odinga won this election of the AUC chairmanship, that was a whole 4-year term with another renewable 4-year term. That is equal to 8 years. By then, it was already calculated that the government of the day would have been re-elected. You may ask yourself why the president had a lot of interest in Raila becoming elected as the AUC chairman. He had gone on a charm offensive in the Lake regions and Western. He was trying to build a base to recover the supposed loss from Mount Kenya support, which is now imminent that he's already lost almost all support from that region. So now he was trying to build a different coalition than the one he had built when he was becoming elected as the president of the Republic of Kenya, with majority of the votes that made him president coming from Mount Kenya. Now he knew if he got at least a good portion of the Luo Nyanza votes and the Western vote, combine that with a good number of the Northeastern vote, and the coast region vote, owing to all the appointments that he's given to all these regions, he knew he would have at least had a chance to replace the lost Mount Kenya support, which was about, I think, 4-point-something million votes. But now, this is going to be monumental. This change, this failure at the AUC elections is going to absolutely change the political landscape. The other day we had the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga condemn the abduction of young people and the retaliation by government to people whom it perceives doesn't support them. This could go a lot of ways. One, if Raila Amolo Odinga plans to run in 2027 for the presidency, which I suspect he will, he may, one, request the people who are in government on behalf of his team to withdraw their services from the government so that he's able now to galvanize a support base based on that. And this is the narrative he will come with. Nilijaribu kusaidia ule jamaa, I gave him my people, but there's nothing that could be done to salvage that particular government. The other way is he may leave them there because someone like the Treasury CS, I do not see if he was going to run for any other seat. After all, he was just nominated to parliament, so he wasn't elected this time. So for him, there's a good chance that he may remain in government for some time. And Raila will now go on an offensive, full offensive. And remember, this is very detrimental to the re-election of this current regime. Reason being, the largest chunk of votes are gone. Gachagua is a relentless enemy. Gachagua is that student as a teacher you teach yourself, but becomes more lethal than you are because they combine your expertise with their expertise to come up against you. And he's also galvanizing a coalition of his own. Baba, Raila Odinga, also has a lot of support in Western Kenya. If he's able to sell the story to Western Kenya that in this government you are supposed to get 30%, but you got a raw deal out of it, he will gain back his majority of the support from the Western region. That means it's a loss for William Ruto. For people like Gachagua, they are doing this with nothing to lose. For people like Gachagua, it's an offensive of this kind that if I can't have it, you won't have it too. None of us will have it. It will rather go to someone else. Another way to see it is this. If Raila opts to support the candidate that Uhuru Kenyatta will support, who will not be William Ruto, by the way, by all indications that we've seen in the press and everywhere, is that William Ruto will not be supported by Uhuru Kenyatta for a second term, that candidate will win elections. That candidate will be elected very early in the morning. It is also monumental change. It could go the president's way. If the president is able to convince the former prime minister to join him in his ranks, support his government to the end, and also support his re-election bid in 2027, the president will be re-elected early in the morning, because the Luo Nyanza vote belongs to Raila without any dispute. Now, in terms of grassroots politics in the Luo Nyanza, the politicians who've always hung on the name Baba or Raila Odinga to be elected are in a very good and safe space, because they will now be re-elected in the name of Raila Odinga. If he would have won the AUC elections, then that would have changed, because a lot of those leaders will not have been re-elected. But this change at the AUC, this failure at the AUC, is a monumental change in the Kenyan politics. Raila Odinga is too significant in the Kenyan political arena to abandon his bid to become president. And now he knows the coming election, 2027, he has the best shot to become president, because we now have a country that is angry, galvanized around the anger that it has towards the government, galvanized by the problems they feel they are facing that have been brought down by on them by this government. This is the most opportune time for him to try and snatch the presidency and run away with it at the ballot. But how this will affect the Kenyan political arena remains to be seen. It just remains to be seen. But one thing is for sure, is this will be monumental. The change will be huge. It will be felt. It will be impactful. There is going to be such a hugely tectonic change in the political arena in Kenya that it may change the way we do politics in the country forever.